Yes, I'm here. I was in the midst of taking care of a little bit of laundry that was finishing up just a few minutes ago, and I realized that the thing was going to turn off right before I came on. And I'm like, you know what? I better get this stuff out of here because then I'm going to have to turn it back on again. And when I'm done with this, I'm going to want to go to bed. So hopefully you can hear me now. And Larry and Jerry are hanging out. They were waiting for me. Sounds like Larry was doing some hockey. That's one of his things to do. And so I just wanted to get on here for a little bit because it's going to be a few days until I am back in this room here. And I'm not sure when. It's funny. Hi, Jerry. It's funny. It's been, I've started some new projects here, and I'm just going to go through some of this stuff here in just a second. It's weird because the projects that I do. So just those of you that I know are in the chat right now. Know that this channel is about tabletop sports, and so mostly what we're trying to do here is show some gameplay, maybe show some ideas, show some strategy, mostly it's through the gameplay itself. You kind of got to watch the games and glean from it. If you are a player of one of these games, try to glean from it things about either the way that I'm playing the game, and then there's lots of other people that are doing these things too. So the thing is what that means is that I'm not someone who goes in and decides I'm just going to do something kind of like one-off, like a series between the 2019 Diamondbacks versus the 2019 Giants, or 2016 Sabres versus the 2012 Red Wings. I'm just not going to do random stuff like that. It's project based. And so when you have things that are projects, especially if you do things that are sizable, you're going to have times when you do games that you don't think people are going to want to watch. You do. So you just kind of get into this mind frame where it's like, okay, you're looking for, man, I want to find, like, I think we did Manchester City and Chelsea, maybe that might have been the game there a couple weeks ago. I did hear from Atba Soccer, and that game is worth doing because I think those are two good teams. I just finished up West Bromwich Albion and Leeds United. Leeds, mid-table club, not too bad. West Brom, relegation candidate. It's not, and I'll show you the score of the game. But so I'm trying to do this kind of like a triage of, gee, if I'm going to do this stuff, which ones am I going to do that would make sense, that would be somewhat entertaining? I mean, I think even the top two teams can go 0-0, right? But chances of that go quite a bit down when you've got good teams. So anyway, just looking here, I see Steve Tower is here trying to troll the chat with Bills Patriots propaganda. Maybe not troll. Maybe that's a little harsh, but yeah. So, and it is going to be frigid there. I wish I was going. I would go there with long underwear, and that's about it. No, I'm just kidding. I would be dressed extremely warm, but I do have a high school friend that I know for sure is going to the game, and it's going to be like 0 at game time. It is an 8:15 game on Saturday night in Buffalo, and the low is listed, at least it was yesterday, at -2. So it's going to be a rather and I'm hoping there aren't too many Patriots fans that show up there, but we'll see. Somehow they sneak their way in. But anyway, so Jerry. Yeah, what? Yeah. I already did it. Was there a text? Oh, there was a text. Sometimes these notifications don't come up. It does this. These phones do this like sleep focus thing, and it's like I wish it could do the sleep focus only when I'm sleeping. I wish it had like. I feel like this thing knows everything about me anyway. Why can't it figure out when I actually am asleep? It probably listens to me even when it's just sitting here. So if I'm talking, if it hears me moving around, if it senses that there's some kind of vibration in the air, which it probably can, why does it not know that I am not sleeping? Stupid phone. Anyway, there's a little rant for you. Technology sucks. No, it's fine. But we couldn't do this if we didn't have technology. But so yeah, Brandon, Mark, good to see you both. And yeah, so let's just go ahead and try and get through this little blah 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 that I'm going to do here. You guys may or may not care. And I'm looking at a camera that's not showing my face, so that's really kind of sad. But anyway, so let's go right into this. So I'm 15 games in. So this is, let's just go back over here to, I'm going to quickly go here and shove it down. Let's go and see. So I'm in week 2. If we run this baby down, this is the schedule and results. And these are 10 games for each week. So we've got 38 weeks in this project. So this is the Alternative Premier League. 380 games. It's going to take a while. So I'm just going to kind of like give occasional updates. Like I said before, I'm going to try and gauge if there's a game, like here in this last week. Let's see, what do we have? We've got, there's Tottenham and Manchester City. That's probably a pretty decent one. We'll probably show that one. Chelsea, Liverpool would be another. Maybe we, that last week we'd probably do a couple of them, right? I don't know. The rest of them are kind of like, eh. But we can go up here to the top. So I showed, yeah, it was Manchester City, Chelsea. It was 3-0. I probably talked about most of these. Leicester City beat Brighton 3-0. And then so I started week 2, and Arsenal took care of Wolves on a late goal, 89th minute, in fact. Tottenham took care of Burnley. Burnley is going to have a struggle to get out of relegation. Liverpool 3-1 over Newcastle. Leicester gets to 6 points after a 4-1 victory over the Red Devils. That's a bit of an upset there on the road at Old Trafford. And Leeds United took care of the Baggies 3-0. So kind of a went in there into suburban Birmingham and took care of business against a team that's probably going to finish 20th, I'm guessing. West Brom, they actually, but they did beat Burnley in their first match. That's what I'm saying. Burnley, when we do this replay, might come out on the wrong end of things because they're a team that struggles. Now they've come up a little bit light here. They have no goals so far, right? So they are going to score some goals. Chris Wood, Ashley Barnes, they have some guys who can score, but they are a little bit behind the 8 ball right now. So the league table, as of right now, we've only done half of the games. Actually, let's take a look here and see what is left. We got Everton and the Eagles. Go into Goodison Park there, and then Chelsea hosts Villa. Saints host City. That should be That's one that City's still going to want to get 3 points, but that is a road one, and Southampton is a tricky team in some ways. Hammers, Fulham, that's a London derby, and Brighton and Sheffield. So Sheffield United, another relegation candidate. So you've got you probably got 4 teams that are going to be vying for the bottom. So we got Leicester, like I said, Leicester and Tottenham currently 6 points. Manchester City can get there. United can't. They lost. Villa could get there. Who do we say they're playing? Chelsea. That's going to be a tough one. Chelsea, they're actually in the bottom right now. They're going to want to get 3 points out of that and emerge and get. They don't want to have any messing with that. But West Brom, they've kind of like put themselves mid-table to start, so they're pretty good. But then we've got we talked about Villa. Let's see, Newcastle. Newcastle's already played. Did I? Oh, I saw them later on. Yeah. So all these other teams have 2. So City and Villa could move up and get into the 6 because they have 3 points currently. Then you got Everton. They haven't played yet. They're only on 1 point. Fulham, Hammers, Wolves. And then you've got Palace, Southampton, Brighton. Just sitting there on basically on goal differential, but still really early. So that was first thing was Alt-Prem. Thanks, Steve. Yeah, I guess it's a little late here. I don't want to take too long. But next I wanted to talk about let's talk about Slacker Tour. So we're 5 tournaments in. So Larry Rice, who is in the chat, that is Mr. Aloha Man here. So if you ever were just a second here, I want to trying to adjust. Oh, I'm on the wrong screen, that's why. Here we go. Gonna adjust this just a tad. So if you're ever on Delphi forums and are looking for oh, I didn't put the winner of this guy in here. And that is being a little weird. But if you're in Delphi forums and see Mr. Aloha Man in there, that would be Larry. So sorry, Larry, I've given your secrets away. Let's see, who did win that? Who won Idaho? I should remember this. Well, that spreadsheet's being a little weird. Let's just open it up here. It's because I'm running this on a live stream. Everything just it's got a little bit of a information bottleneck and also processing bottleneck on this computer. But let's see. When are you going to think about this? Boy. There we go. All right. All right, so yeah, He Jin Tong is the winner. So I was pleasantly surprised to see He Jin move to the top. He won in a playoff. Won first hole of playoff. Max Elliott finished second in the tie. Bring this over here. He Jin Tong, he kind of like faltered down the stretch. He had a 2-stroke lead going into the final holes, and then he bogeyed 17 and 18, but somehow he mustered it up and parred on a second playing of 18 while Max Elliott bogeyed. And so that ends up being the result. So he wins $144,000, and that should help him get back towards the Tenacious Golf Tour for the next season, which will be the 2021 season. So now in 6th place in points and in money. Let's see, still in points as well. Waylon Dodson actually has a couple of top 10s and has earned the most. Probably by virtue of winning. Let's see. Well, he won in Oregon, Pumpkin Ridge. I mentioned Mr. Aloha Man. He designed several of the courses that I will be using in this. Now I made Landings Club. I've already made Peak and Peak. That would be the next tournament. And then I'm up in the air whether I'm going to make one more. There's one more that I have a lot of the data figured out. I just need to put it into cards, and it's just a matter of doing it. But Larry has made Wakefield, which is in North Carolina, Thornblade, which is in South Carolina. So he did a couple down there in Tar Heel Land, and then he made the Northwest contingent here, Oregon and Idaho. I think the one I was going to do, the other one was Utah. I think that's Farmington is the name of the town that's in. But he's also done Highland Springs, and he's done Crestview, and he's done Nashville. And then there's a couple here from Lash, Chafin is his name, Indian Creek, and Panther Creek. So these are all Corn Ferry courses. So and then Bill Wooge, I don't know his full name, but he created Victoria National, which is, I believe, it's Indiana. And that's where they hold the final, and so that's where we're going to do this final when we get there. So almost to the halfway point of this as well. You can see I need to get to July for that. And so if we take a little wind backwards to the Tenacious Tour and take a look at where we're at, we are at June 18th. We have to do the Michigan Mash. We do the Mash, the Michigan Mash, sponsored by Dobies. I think that's a headache powder or something like that. Anyway, if it isn't, it should be. Motown Crown, which is Detroit Golf Club. Gareth Leonard is the reigning champion of that tournament. But as you can see here, we have done 18 out of 30. And so we're on the home stretch. We've just completed the U.S. Open, which was at Torrey Pines. Trent McAdams squeaked it out there, -6 score. Pretty high score. But still, as a major, that's probably an average, right around an average score for a major. We still have the UK Championship at Royal St. George's. That is a custom course, and I don't recall who made that one. It might have been Greg Nolan. But and then we're going to do Kiawah Island as the Pro Showcase, which I think that's also one that is I think that's also going to have to be that's a custom made. I don't think Play has made that guy. All right, Jerry, hang in there. Waylon, with the Dukes of Hazzard theme there, just for it'd be funny if I put Jennings in there, but I should have one Willie Jennings, and then we could have Waylon. Was it Waylon Nelson? Waylon Dodson. Yeah. It's a pretty good name, Waylon Dodson. So, we've got Michigan, and then we have Golden Bear. And unfortunately, so what I did, I had to split out to a different spreadsheet for my money leaders and stuff. So McAdams currently in the lead with $7 million in earnings for the season. Gareth Leonard second, Wallace third, Magallanes fourth. The first one who hasn't won is Emmerich. Dustin Emmerich is the Brit, 3.3. Rance Aberley has a win. Su Cheng Tian does. Aldrich. And then Trenchard, he's come close a couple times, but is still without a victory. So at least in this season, he won our very first tournament. So, and then Leon Bay with a victory, the South African, rounding out the top 10. So I'll scroll down here just a little bit. Try and take a couple little breaks in here just in case you want to see any names that you recognize. There's Todd Mann. He won our most recent tournament. He's in 37th place. Probably going to get a full exempt. Well, he gets a full exemption because he won a tournament. So, but even with that, he should still be in the top 125 when all is said and done. But that way you can stop the video if you want to take a look and see if you can find anybody like Torrey Bingen or Songram Sangsorn or Sheridan Cook Jr. Smanowicz Jr. at 80th. Zukowski's won in previous seasons, I believe. Who else? Samson Peterson. I think he might have won 2 in the previous season. He's not faring so well. The Finn may have had his hair cut for all we know. Let's see. Some of these names come from the Slacker Tour, so you know, if we got these C-tier tournaments, those guys do get a chance to ply their trade and to see if they can make a little bit of money. And you can see they can make quite a decent sum compared to what they're making on the Slacker Tour. So that's as far as we'll go there, and I think that's good for that. Let's take a real quick swing through football land. Bedwetter. Todd Ahrens. Merle Paycheck. That's a good one. That's a good one. Take this Okie and shove it. Let's see. Kiowa. Oh, right. Kiowa was. So is that what they called it? I'm surprised that they gave it a name. That maybe I put the wrong name down. But yeah. Okay. Merle Paycheck is a good one. You could get, you know, you could do, you know, Loretta Wynette if you wanted to have a ladies tour of, you know, Kenny Cash. Although some probably would say, well, we'll take a little break from the stat talk and bring it back here. For me to put Kenny Rogers, and although I will say Kenny Rogers, he did have a little bit of a Hellraiser bent back before he got into all of that, you know, lady and all this, like, he tried to be a heartthrob, even though I don't know how. So my aunt, who passed away 3 or 4 years ago, and my mom's twin, she passed away from breast cancer, but I remember in the 80s, she won a contest on the country radio station to go see, and it was a meet and greet with Kenny Rogers. And I remember she got to kiss him, and I don't think she washed her face for weeks because of that. I'm like, I don't know. He's, I mean, I guess some women like full beards. I don't know, but I mean, good voice, great voice. But he was what, in the new edition? Not new edition. New edition? First edition maybe. And I think he was a little bit more of a Hellraiser back then in like the 60s, but then he kind of like cleaned it up, and he did like Six Pack, I think, the movie. Crooked Stick is in a course pack. Oh, well, yeah, Larry is a prolific course designer. So, and if you if you haven't been to the Play Delphi Forum, you really should. If you're looking for a golf course, Gideon Eames curates a spreadsheet with all of the courses that have been released by Play and created within the community. So if you're looking for Royal Portrush, if it's been made, because you want to do that particular British Open, go look there. I will bet that one has been made. And a whole slew of other ones, a lot of European ones, a ton of American ones. You know, if you wanted to do like Harding Park, because that was a recent U.S. Open, I think it was. That's probably been carded, and it might have even been Larry. Larry, if you did, I've kind of lost track of everything. I know what he is doing right now is trying to put together a bunch of the, I think it was from the mid-90s, courses that are not represented in the current Play repertoire, to try and do some kind of a season from there. So, and I know which one it is. I just don't want to. I just do not want to. You know, I'm not sure how much I want to reveal about that, but that's. Let's see. 5 red crooked. Yeah, I mean, there's just so many. There are a lot of these courses that you can get on, but you know, it's mostly because they're either they're like resorts and they charge you a crap ton of money. Yeah, 96 season. I just didn't want to speak out of turn there too much, Larry. But anyway, so let's see. Let's just go in here. I don't want to take too much time on this, because so this is just where things compile up. I haven't really done. So this is the Stratomatic football. This is advanced. I started it over with advanced, so I've done these games. I've done San Francisco beat the Chargers 30-20. Seahawks beat Arizona 34-27. We did Detroit beat Chicago 2013, and Denver Cleveland 27-10. And then the Colts beat Dallas. That was a pretty shocking result, 32-26. So I mean, this is what the standings kind of look like, and I apologize that you can't see the whole thing. I can move this over a little bit if you want. Actually, those two over on the right side are not very well represented so far, but that's kind of the way the standings show up. And I definitely have a lot more to go, really, to get started. But so, you know, the way I had designed this was the top 6 teams would be in the Marv Levy division, and it's home and home against each opponent. So each team is going to play 10 games in that division. Division 2 is the Bud Grant division, and that's the next 6. So this one here is the Eagles, the Steelers, the Saints, the Rams, the Patriots, the Vikings. And then the Grant one is Panthers, Bills, Jaguars, Falcons, Chiefs, and Titans. And then the D3 was everybody else. So that's what the other 20 teams broken into 5 teams in 4 different divisions. So that's about all I need to say about that. And that's all I'm going to say about that, Jenny. That's weird. Oh, yeah, that's why. All right. So A few other little topics I want to talk on before I hang up the phone. I put a few notes here together. So, and where did I put that thing? One moment. Go out to the shelf of horror. And, yeah, so my next Flight of Fancy, I haven't gotten this thing yet. I actually purchased some add-ons, but I have yet to get the game because, so, make a long story short, over Christmas, we were going to travel, but, part of my family came down, including myself, came down with some symptomology which could have been related to Omicron. So we just put the kibosh on traveling, and so this game was going to be a gift for me, and so I've had to patiently wait, which is kind of tough if any of you have waited just for the mail, and sometimes that can take a while, but having to then wait on actually receiving a gift, I sound like a 8-year-old, right? But I think sometimes we have that. So this is let's see, what direction do I need to go? This way. So that's the ASG Augusta National first hole. And so I don't know how I'm actually going to use ASG golf, but I wanted to have, and this is also something I would say I'd have to thank Larry. I started going and saying to myself, okay, I want a different golf game. And there are a couple out there. I know there's at first I was thinking ATBA. And then he just, his recommendation was, well, you might be more into ASG. And, there's also like Inside the Cup. And there's, I think Inside Pitch maybe makes that game. But, so it's going to be a pretty, I think it's pretty intense simulation. I don't know, there's a channel, Ron Emsch, who has some, not only ASG, but he does probably more ATBA golf on that channel, and I think he just put out some new videos in that, but he tends to do a hole at a time, and so I don't know how I'm going to be able to put this on video. I may not, and I haven't really decided what I'm going to do with it, but it'll hopefully make a nice juxtaposition with History Maker Golf so that I can see, because I've always just, used the assumption, which I think is a valid assumption, that History Maker Golf does a really nice job of boiling down tournaments to a 3-hour round, whereas I have a 3-hour project kind of. Whereas I think with this game, it might be 3 hours for a round, because you're choosing your iron, wood, where you're aiming, and there's a lot of nuts and bolts to determining how far it goes and all that stuff. So, a binder like no other, yeah. Just like one of Mitt's binders, except it doesn't have women in it. It has golf holes. So, so I had last on my agenda, but Steve Tower, who popped in already, had brought it up. So a football weekend with Buffalo and New England. in the bitter cold, and I wish I were going, but I'm not. But I will be watching that with family, barring some kind of a recurrence of runny nose, cough, blah, blah, blah. And I'm really hoping that doesn't happen. I don't think it will. I think we've all had this Omicron. We've all had vaccine, blah, blah, blah. So, and not to say blah, 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 to dismiss anything, but, it's like we've done what we have needed to do, I believe. So, and like a lot of people are finding, the Pfizer, and I don't know about Moderna. I assume it's the same kind of thing, but while it probably gives you enough, it probably primes your system enough to stave off the worst of symptoms, including, like fatality type stuff. It is not comprehensive enough to be able to fight off the Omicron, and I think more than likely even the symptoms that you get when you have one of these breakthrough guys is just the base case, just not really doing a whole lot for it. That's fine. It is what it is. But so, I'm really looking forward to that game. I'm looking forward to watching some football for the first time in at least 2 years with my father and my brother and his kid and my son. Try to get as many people to watch as possible, and hopefully the Bills don't lay an egg. But we'll see. But we're going to do a little Christmas gifting exchange and hopefully have a meal and just, hopefully this is the beginning of the end of all of this malarkey. I really hope so. I think we're starting to feel a tide turn in terms of public sentiment. People have done. There are a lot of people that have done everything that they've been asked to do, and eventually, it just has to, we're getting there, but it's just not quick enough for my liking. But you can't. You have to play by the rules, as long as they make you play by them, I guess is the way to put it. So anyway, and that's just about all that I have for tonight. And if you have any questions, I will hang out here for a minute or two. I got to haul laundry upstairs. I'm drinking a sparkling water. I still drink soda, but I've tried to cut back a lot on that. All right. I'm going to try going forward to be a little just a little more spontaneous with this stuff, as far as, try not to overthink putting a video out. I think there are days where people are busy, and it's tough to come and watch, and and that's understandable. I just need to it's somewhat helpful for my site. It's also a little bit stressful to do things on camera. Excuse me, but I don't know. I just need to find ways to find ways to make this helpful to people so that when they're coming to the channel here and looking for information, that they are finding something that they want to consume, right? I mean, that's and sometimes that's just a plain old game. And in that vein, probably a good bit of what would bring people to watch stuff is baseball, which is the kind of what people cut their teeth on when it comes to tabletop games. So that's not to say I'm going to go whole hog into just playing baseball game after baseball game, and that there are plenty of channels that already do that, but it's not baseball season yet, but we're getting up there. Hopefully this lockout ends within the next 2 or 3 weeks, so that way spring training can go on, and we'll be ready for a full season. That will be good. Hopefully by the start of the regular season we will see all of the variants passed away, low transmission, and we will see all of us out doing stuff like going to ball games and enjoying the spring, and maybe getting to plan vacations and go out with friends and have picnics and parties and birthday parties for family and weddings and all the stuff that we've pretty much had to sacrifice for years now. And this is years. We are close to years. We are like 2 months from years of this. So so I will be away this weekend, as Larry mentioned. I'm not going to be around, so there won't be any videos this weekend. I may be trying to see if I can get a short couple whole plays of ASG before I come home. But Tabletop Earl, I see him post stuff on Facebook on occasion. I think he's probably just enjoying life. I'll tell you what, it's amazing to me that I continue to hit the videos here and make them, just because this is a very trying time, and I don't know about him. I know he did have quite a foray into baseball cards, but I don't know if that's what he's been up to. I feel like if I were living somewhere in flyover country where things were open more and there were no threats of mask mandates again, which we are currently in now, I would be out doing every dang thing I could, and I probably would be thinking a lot less about this stuff here. And maybe that would only last a couple weeks. But we've gotten to the point here, I think, where it's become, growing up, starting in the 70s, I was born in the mid 70s, and up until 2 years ago, the only thing that I'd say really threw a wrench into life was 9/11, right? That was like the one thing where, I'm working, I'm training somebody at work, getting ready to do some stuff, setting up a big thing that was like pyrophoric, which means, if it gets exposed to moisture, it can ignite. And we just put all this stuff into something that you can't, it's really tough to put it back in the bottle. And then we find out at that point that one of the towers was hit, and then the next one, Like, so then I was kind of stuck there, but it's like, you hear New York City being in, upheaval and all this stuff, and worried about phone, coverage and being able to contact and to get home, and I wasn't able to go home because I was in the midst of that, and just, that was probably the toughest day up until 2 years ago. And this has been, so, all that time we just, like, I took for granted that life is just, oh, if it's a Saturday, I don't know, maybe I'll go play around at golf. I don't know. I guess not. Money's a little tight. And even after this thing, I've still been doing that. And it's like, why have I taken for granted life? And I think it's just so easy to do. It's the first world problem thing. Our problems are, gee, all the spoons are dirty, or crap, I ran out of good garbage bags. I've got to go buy ones that don't have the little tie straps that pull apart, and gee, the battery on the camera outside the door is not, things like that are like inconveniences, right? And they're just so inconsequential. Just took so much for granted, and it's just, when we do end up through with this, it's just gonna be so tough not to fall back into old habits of just accepting that everything is normal, and not to just take it for granted anymore. It's just gonna be tough. So. Well, anyway, I've got to go to bed, and I got to haul this laundry upstairs. So I will see you guys after Martin Luther King Jr. weekend. Have a great evening and a great weekend, and go Bills. We will see you soon back here on Tenacious Sports.